What is good, y'all? Colin Reader bringing to the reaction video. Today we have got something a little different again. And you know, I like doing different content and all that, different stuff every now and then. And this one is a video by Ted Nivison, something like that. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is this is called "I Drove to Every Rainforest Cafe in North America." And it's 30 minutes long, so I'm not gonna do a lot of chit chat. We're just gonna react to this because this is gonna be pretty interesting. I think the volume check's pretty good, I believe. Yeah, but anyways, this is pretty long, so let's just react to it and see how it is. In 3, 2, 1, play.
I did something really stupid when I was gone. Do you want to know what it is? This is the Rainforest Cafe. It's a themed restaurant that's decked out to look like a rainforest. They got animatronic animals. The waiters refer to themselves as safari guide. And every 30 minutes, there is a thunderstorm that happens within the restaurant. It is the stupidest, most ridiculous restaurant to exist.
They had one near a mall, near a mall near my town, or in my town, or one of the towns I go to a lot. They had one in that mall next to it, and it's since closed, but it was fun. I used to go to, as a child, I used to go to like 3 or 4 times. It was pretty cool. I think even more than that, but still, it was, point is, it was a pretty cool place. I remember the thunderstorm, that was awesome, and the elephants and all that shit, yeah.
I love it so much, and for that reason, I drove almost 10,000 miles to go to every single one of them.
How
what else
do
do
you
you
Why
expect?
would you do that, though?
This Rainforest Cafe odyssey began by stopping at the closest location to LA in Ontario, California. It's also where I met up with my partner, Eddie Burback. He's dastardly good looking, played a perfect game in Wii bowling, and has a mustache that makes animated Disney movie fathers cry like little wham wham babies. He was perfect.
Cool.
Walking into that random mall in California, I knew that we were about to embark on something truly special.
Initial thoughts? I like it here.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be good.
Why is it purple though? Oh, those are lights. Those are lights up there.
Shut the fuck up, Jim. Entering this holy place made me feel like a young boy again. The animatronics seemed so real. And the menu still had some of my favorites from my childhood, including the Gorilla Grilled Cheese Delight and the Jurassic Chicken Tidbits. What is a tidbit? I'm pretty sure we made our server's day by actually signing up for the Rainforest Cafe members card, which normally wouldn't have much use, but for our specific situation made a lot of sense. Then all of a sudden, without any warning, our first rainforest thunderstorm.
I used to love those. This would be a long video, but yeah, I remember those thunderstorms.
That thunder had us shivering in our little boots. We waved goodbye to this first Rainforest Cafe, prepare for our road trip to every single other location of this restaurant.
Wait,
this is the stupid...
Why do you start at day 0? I mean, it's day 1 now, so why do you start at that? I don't know.
thing I think either of us have ever done.
I walked out of my apartment and I was like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be back for 3 weeks because I'm doing that.
Road trip, because they went to the one nearest to them, and now it's a road trip around the country.
There's going to be so much driving. And we're doing that driving in my 2002 Toyota Tacoma. Forest green, aesthetically rusted from the New England winters, and also the only car that I've had for the last 8 years. That's right, I drive myself to high school in this car, and I'm almost 25. The first startup of the truck.
Ken's voice is a lot deeper than I thought. I thought he had like a little higher voice, and deep voice.
From LA, we drove 384 miles to Phoenix, Arizona, where we'd find our second Rainforest Cafe. You might be asking why I'm doing this in the first place. I was one of the children whose childhood was blessed with a Rainforest Cafe-filled life. It was the best thing that ever happened to my small, tiny, frail body. But that's not the only reason.
A popular family restaurant in Johnson County closes its doors.
Popular restaurant Rainforest Cafe
that was mine. That was my place.
The leading restaurant Rainforest Cafe has closed its location in the Oak Park Mall.
Oak Park Mall.
The Rainforest Cafe is dying out. At its peak, there was 34 Rainforest Cafes in the United States. Today, that number has been whittled down to half. And if I didn't go to every last Rainforest Cafe in the country, I don't know if I would even be able to look at myself. So yeah, here we are at Rainforest Cafe number 2. Eddie and I decided to share the flatbread appetizer, which was served on a very fancy stone platter, typical of your higher-end eating establishment. And I got a Beyond Burger with one of my favorite sides, safari fries. What makes them different from normal fries? You're eating them on a safari. One of the interesting facets of this location, though, was how insanely loud the elephants we were next to were. And And hey, what's a rainforest cafe without random animal heads sticking out of the walls without very clear proportion guidelines? With that, we've hit Rainforest Cafe number 2, on to number 3.
Where's that?
And then 5, and then 6.
Day 2. And then the rest of them. So where are y'all going now?
We're somewhere in New Mexico right now, and we're about to go camping in the middle of the desert. We're little crunchy granola boys sometimes.
I would say mostly not me, but I'm hoping I have a good experience.
Eddie's a big crunchy
I like
guy.
beds.
Everyone refers to Eddie Burback as like Mr. Groundhog.
I don't know about that. I know that it was Eddie top 10 on trending Burback.
Okay.
Recently, Eddie, the king of the squirts.
We're now at our campsite, baby. We're in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. So,
is it tagging me?
tomorrow we're heading to the Dallas Rainforest Cafe. We set up our camp, made a little fire, and as we sat there under the stars, dreamed of all the Rainforest Cafe visits we had left in store, weeks of experience in front of us. The world was our oyster, or should I say rainforest. That was so stupid. That didn't even make any sense. Just a quick word from the sponsor of this video, which is BetterHelp. I have ADHD, and since I have a job that requires a lot of personal executive functioning, it can sometimes be a heavy weight on my own personal mental health, amongst other things. If you're struggling with your own mental health, you're absolutely not alone. And even if the people around you might be good for you, then you can get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/Ted Nivison.
Ted Nivison. That's
Good morning, everyone. It's 5:30 in the morning, and we have to drive an additional 10 hours to make it to our next Rainforest Cafe. If we don't, our plans will be squandered.
Obviously, you're doing this for no reason, but you know, it's for a video, of course. That's a long-ass drive. I have never driven 10 hours
which
before.
is pretty literal to the name.
There's sand dunes everywhere, baby. What the hell is going on? Why is this in America?
From there, we began our 621-mile trek
there's
to
deserts in
Dallas,
America, like
Texas.
Arizona,
And when you've got
New
10
Mexico,
hours of drive time, sometimes roadside attractions become as enticing as ever.
Oh, Eddie, Pistachio Land.
Okay.
Pistachio Land. Have you ever seen the largest pistachio before? Chances are
and
no.
I'm fine with that.
No,
I'd
I
be on
never
my
have.
deathbed and someone would go, what are your regrets? And I would say, definitely not missing out on the largest pistachio.
There's another one.
Yeah, it's their billboard ad.
They want us to go.
That's how advertising works.
Yeah,
Bigger
just
is
go then.
better.
You know,
That's
take a
so
break from
true.
your
Bigger is
trip. You
better.
know,
You
and
can
just
freak
go.
out all you want.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to forgive you or myself if I don't see the largest pistachio in the world.
I can
Then just
stress
do
enough
it
how
then.
much I can
Just
live
do
with
pistachio.
that.
Take a
We're
break.
not going to the fucking pistachio.
Perfect.
Okay, well, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
We made it to Dallas, Texas.
I've only had
First
one
thing
bag
we
of
noticed
those
at this
in the
Rainforest
last
Cafe was the
2
difference
months.
in the
I don't even that
population
much,
of
you know.
customers in the restaurant.
It's a miracle. We're not the only ones.
Perhaps it was because it was the first Rainforest
I've never been alone
Cafe
in
we went
a
to that
Rainforest
had
Cafe before.
fish.
There's always been
Or
people
it
around
could be
me.
because of a theory I've held for a while that I was seeing in the flesh for the first time. The Rainforest Cafe Texas Supercluster Theory.
Okay, day 4.
This is the Texas Rainforest Cafe Supercluster, as I've mentioned, which means I think that all of the restaurants
does it
in
even
this
exist?
area are going to be higher quality.
Are you in an
They're gonna
RV?
be busy. They're going to have lots of people. Food's going to be good. Drinks are going to be popping. We barely scratched the surface, ladies and gentlemen, of what we can discover.
Oh,
It's a pretty
okay.
good sign if a specific Rainforest Cafe is completely booked up. The Galveston one, the San Antonio one, they're both booked up out the
So most
wazoo.
Rainforest cafes are in Texas, okay, and they're all booked. Wow, so it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a rare place nowadays. You have to reserve it, yeah.
Somebody said it was a ride.
And I've only been to one, and that's the one.
If there is even a chance
Overland
that
Park,
we can
or
go
I
on
think
the
Overland Park
Galveston
or Johnson
Rainforest
County.
Cafe
They closed
ride,
by
I
Oak
want
Park
it.
Mall.
Gotta do it.
In my mind right now, I'm imagining like a tiger-themed roller coaster that goes through the restaurant, and I don't think it's going to
That'd
be
be cool.
anything like that. And we drove from Dallas all the way down to San Antonio to reach Rainforest Cafe number 4. It was situated in a pretty cool location, the Riverwalk in San Antonio. We also met up with
Think
some
of the
pals here
amount of
that you may
gas
know.
they had
This
to get.
location was cool because it had 3 floors to it. It was really compressed into the
wow.
location it was in, which was unique to this Rainforest Cafe, I believe. Everyone in the group had a fantastic time, and I was proud to say that we converted them into RFC lovers. Don't believe me? Listen to them.
They gave me a freaking light-up cup, and it was sick.
They had my name on one of the keychains. I really appreciated that.
They ran out of toilet
plastic covers, but they did have 2-ply toilet paper.
Connor had a panic
What'd you
attack.
just say?
We were supposed to drive back
What
to
did that
Austin, Texas, where
drunk
we'd
girl
then
just
leave
say?
for Houston the next morning. Unfortunately, though, the truck started being a bit louder than normal.
Okay. Take 5. These ads, I swear to gosh.
It's
I'm
not
gonna get rid of
supposed to sound like that. So I drove the truck to the nearest Midas repair shop.
Yeah,
If we were going to stay on
exactly.
schedule, the truck had to be fixed and fast.
No
To see my
shit.
broken green child hurting like this was almost too much to bear.
When you drive for 5 days, yeah, no shit, it's gonna need fixing, you know? How many times did you stop for gas so far?
What was even harder to bear was what I had to deal with while I waited for it to be fixed. For some reason, at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, they decided to play Saving Private Ryan on the TV at almost full volume. I don't think you understand the fever dream of watching people's heads be blown off on the beaches of Normandy at 7:30 a.m. in a Midas waiting room like it was Good Morning America. And I watched the entirety of Saving Private Ryan. Then I stepped outside briefly to get some air and make some calls. And I come back in to see that Saving Private Ryan was playing a second time. I was in the most uniquely crafted scenario in hell. Thankfully, the truck got fixed in time, but now something within me is broken. Before we left
it's
Austin,
gonna get broken
though, we
again
got a
because you're
little
gonna keep
peek into
driving
the
and driving,
rainforest by
you know?
getting to meet the animals at Alveus Animal Sanctuary. I got to stroll with an emu, which is a terrifying bird that seems like it should not exist. And I made friends with the crows. They will remember me with their 5th grader brains as an ally to the world of crows. This is a crow.
His name's Abbott.
He's gonna remember my face. And you know, these animals sort of reminded me of all the mascots for the Rainforest Cafe. They're called the Wild Bunch, and they're all known criminals. You've got Cha-Cha, the red-eyed tree frog, a money launderer. Iggy the iguana, a thief. Nile the crocodile, arrested for drunk driving. Rio the macaw, an infamous poacher. Maya the jaguar, tax evasion. Tuki the elephant, cyberbully. Bamba the gorilla, in the can for assault and battery. And Ozzy the orangutan, weed. So we drove to Houston, Texas to visit the Katy Mills Rainforest Cafe. This Rainforest Cafe was a pretty standard mall rainforest cafe. Delicious and exciting meal as always. But we went to bed that night thinking of the Rainforest Cafe we had tomorrow. The #1 Rainforest Cafe in Texas, Galveston.
Galveston, Texas.
We were greeted the next morning by the most impressive Rainforest Cafe we had seen yet. A beautifully shaped volcanic building along with a handy sign that showed us the one and only Rainforest Cafe ride. This was going to be one for
They
the
were
books.
right.
This location
I don't
was
think Ted
popping, and we ate some of the most delicious General American chain restaurant food money could buy. Eddie even enjoyed a slushie with that money launderer's head on it.
I'm having the greatest lunch of my life.
Then we bought matching shirts and prepared for what could be the most electric RFC experience yet. My God.
Are you kidding me?
Ted, look out!
These ads, you can't edit this stuff out. I'm just gonna click them out. That's a cool ride though. Oh yeah, I remember the elephants the most.
To say we were blown away would be an understatement. That was the greatest thing I had ever seen. I almost didn't even
Now I
want to
kind of
leave.
want to go to that one.
What the
Rainforest
hell?
Cafe just to go on that ride.
I mean, wow.
Wow, this lived up and I think was a little bit better than I expected.
Am I kind of turning you over to the side of the Rainforest Cafe?
Well, no. If we weren't doing this video and you said, like, do you want to go to the Rainforest Cafe for, like, another time this month? I'd still probably say no. Is your enjoyment ramping up no matter the location, just every time we go to one? You're not tired of the safari fries for the 6th time in a row?
Here's what I'll say.
I bet they're pretty good, but I would get tired of them after 6 times.
No, so the problem is that I'm having too much.
Why don't we table this for a little bit, I suppose?
We can table
Why don't
it,
we
but-
table this conversation?
Yeah, I'm not going to change my opinion.
So we drove from Galveston all the way to celebrate our progress in New Orleans. Still living off the high of that last
Louisiana.
rainforest, but there was still more to come.
I know there's
After
Rainforest
breakfast
Cafe
in New
there.
Orleans, we began our drive to Gainesville, Florida, and
I
oh
wanna go
my
back there.
God, what is that? I was blessed with a vision of a mascot character advertising a gas station called Buc-ee's, and I just had to make a
Buc-ee's.
stop and check out what the hell was going on.
I had one in
I
my
forced Eddie to push a
town, or one
Buc-ee's
of my
run
towns
because we'd
that I
never
go
been to
to, and it
Buc-ee's
closed
before.
since.
We're out of gas. Had to skip
For the
multiple
7th
gas
time.
stations to go to
But I
Buc-ee's.
guess.
This was the most massive gas station shop I had ever seen. They had everything. Some guy was chopping a brisket like it was the only thing that he had ever learned in his entire life. This beaver was running an empire under my nose the entire time, and they sold everything. They had
That's a
jelly, they
gas
had
station? I didn't know
jam.
there
Is there
was-
even a
I've
market
seen
for
that.
pickled
I know
quail?
the gas
Even the
station,
ice
though.
was funny. 69, that's the sex number. My love for mascots.
honestly,
My
nice.
love for theme. I just couldn't handle it.
Oh, I thought he was going to start doing something in
I
the
just feel
gas
like
station.
you're kind of a sucker for
So it's like
mascot
Costco.
brands.
Sort of.
What do you mean?
On
Day
day
8.
We put a modern spin on fine jewelry.
Yeah, this is,
Right.
we're gonna keep all the ads in. This
Day
is
8,
gonna be a
we
long
reached
video
the
anyway, so
southernmost
there's no point
rainforest
taking the
cafe
ads
in the
out.
United
you know?
States, just outside of Miami, Florida, for our
Florida.
7th visit to this magical place. Although this rainforest cafe wasn't the one in Florida I was
So you
most
guys
excited
drove,
about.
like-
That would come when we drove back north
Yeah,
to
day 7 it took you all
Orlando.
to
Upon arriving in
day-
Orlando,
day
we met up
9.
with our girlfriends who had just flown in. Nice to see ya. And we
Your
met up
girlfriend.
with Drew and Amanda, who would be joining us for this stop at the Disney Springs
Wait,
Rainforest
who's
Cafe.
girlfriend?
This rainforest
The
cafe
brunette-
had an
the hot
exterior that
brunette
was
one
an
was
even more
Ted's, and
intense
the
volcano
blonde
building
one
than
was
Galveston.
Eddie's. I can tell. I can tell.
I didn't know it would do that.
And the classic
Is that
crocodile
Drew
for this
Gooden?
one was
That was
just
Drew Gooden.
hanging out next to the volcano. Walking into this rainforest cafe, I knew that we'd be convincing Amanda and Drew to join our RFC fan club. The atmosphere was
So
on
that's
point.
Drew's
This was a
girlfriend,
pretty
not-
good
not
one. Drew and
Eddie's.
Amanda were
Eddie
having
doesn't
so
have a
much fun
girlfriend.
that we had to take an RFC fan club family photo to savor the memory. Look at us. And since our waiter
I
got
see,
lost in the jungle for 40 minutes
Oh,
to
yeah,
find
the
our check, we
butterflies,
got
too.
to
I
spend
remember those.
extra time listening to elephant screams and thunder claps. Drew was practically overwhelmed with satisfaction.
What a
I know Drew Gooden from Vine. I haven't seen any of his videos yet on YouTube, but I mean, he was an OG Viner.
In order to reach the second
10.
Orlando-based Rainforest Cafe, we had to venture into probably the most thematically appropriate place for
Walt
one to
Disney?
be, which was the
Wow.
fucking Animal Kingdom in Disney World.
We are currently at the most exclusive Rainforest
I'm waiting
Cafe
for your truck to
location
break down
hidden
again.
within the confines of a transnational
And they'll be like,
multimedia
sorry, we can't fix
conglomerate.
this now.
It's
You
Animal
gotta go
Kingdom
back.
Rainforest Cafe. What a delight.
But that's not the only thing that made this Rainforest Cafe special. This location is the only Rainforest Cafe in the entirety of North America to serve breakfast. That's right, we were there at 9 a.m. and we were going to start
Wow.
our day with a rainforest-themed breakfast
Nice.
feast. This breakfast selection came
Awesome.
with its own menu, with a slew of options somehow more ridiculous than the normal menu.
That's
Jurassic
awesome.
chicken tidbits. I raise you pie of the viper, a Mexican-style breakfast pizza. It's like they spun
Wow.
those 3 descriptors on a slot machine.
That's
We ended up getting the
actually
breakfast
sounds really
sliders.
good.
I don't know if it was
The
because the
sliders?
eggs were
Oh,
fresh
breakfast
or they just
sliders.
put crack in them, but those sliders were good. I
I'm
also got
hungry
a
now.
Bloody Mary
All I have is-
that morning at 9 a.m., but I only did it because I was trying to get something out of it. But I'll tell you what that is when I finish this trip. Of course, after leaving, the only thing that was on our minds was to go on an actual safari. We
Well,
saw
that is Eddie's
zebras,
girlfriend,
we
so
saw
Drew doesn't
giraffes,
have a
we saw
girlfriend.
monkeys. The
He's-
only thing
yeah.
that would have made this better is if I had a
Ted's
plate full of
girlfriend's kinda
safari
fine, though.
fries on my lap. I was over the moon. Of course, moments like these can't last forever. So after spending the rest of our day at the Animal Kingdom, our journey would continue as we reached
Day 12. We skipped day 11. Oh, day 11 they were driving forever.
Nashville, Tennessee,
Day 12 was
possibly
Nashville.
the most out-of-the-way rainforest cafe on the entire route. We left so early in the morning that we got there before it had even opened, so we waited.
Of course y'all did. Y'all were just sitting there just like...
It's an interesting
Waiting for it to
sensation to
open.
sit in a mall at 11 a.m. and wait for a rainforest cafe to open. There was a shocking
11
amount of
a.m.,
people in this
that's almost
rainforest cafe
lunchtime,
at
though.
11 a.m.
Well,
And
then again,
since
'cause
this
they don't
location
serve
didn't even
breakfast,
serve
like the last
breakfast,
one.
what are you here for? Brunch at the Rainforest Cafe? This location is also where we
Yeah.
learned an interesting
what we're
fact
here
about
for.
why some of the rainforest cafes get rid of the fish. They spend $3.5 million a year per location just for the fish, which is probably why this fish has been staring me down the whole
The
time.
more you know, we're telling you every day.
More
Thank you,
expensive
Ted.
than me,
My
and
new fact
he
of the
wanted
day.
me to know it. Either way, Eddie and I were having the time of our lives. I could just tell. Eventually, it was time for us to leave Tennessee and make our way further north. We were heading to the Atlantic City Rainforest Cafe, and we were on a roll. Two rainforest rascals rolling down the open road, going to every location of a beautiful themed restaurant. Everything was going great. Nothing could stop us. That is, of course, until disaster struck us, like lightning to an animatronic gorilla.
We've run into a bit of an issue of a caliber that may be a big problem. Very large problem, actually.
We were driving on the highway, and the truck reacted really abnormally to what would be a small bump. I noticed the truck was aggressively
I knew it. The
to
truck
one
would break
side,
down
and when I
again. I
checked
knew that
under
was
it,
gonna
I
happen.
discovered this.
That is the suspension right there. It has snapped off. As far as I know, it would be
You want to do this. You want to do
really
this
bad
whole thing.
idea to drive this car without the shocks.
The damage was so bad we had to get the truck towed to the nearest repair shop. For now, Atlantic City had to wait. It seemed like our entire journey was being called into question.
That's what happens when you do something like this. You know, your truck breaks down again twice within a 1 week period. You know, because I think day 5 was the first time. I don't remember. But yeah, I knew it was gonna break down a second time. I just knew it. I just knew it.
Stood there in the drizzling rain of Delaware as I watched my steed be hauled away. The rain felt like what I had experienced.
Well, when you
in
want
a
to do stuff like
rainforest,
this
so
for no
unfamiliar
reason,
to me
this is
now.
what
I
happens.
knew in my
Ted.
heart that there was a way to get this done in 3 weeks, but tonight we had to stay in hell on earth. Newark, Delaware. This put our road trip plans in a terrible situation. Would we be able to get the truck fixed tomorrow? Or would parts not come and we'd be waiting a day or 2 days? We literally had no idea.
Whose fault is that? I mean, no offense, Ted, but like...
We received a rainforest miracle. The truck was fixed somehow.
Wow.
They found parts for the truck, and we had a chance to make back the time we lost. But we'd have to go to 2 rainforest cafes in 1 day. So we raced as fast as we legally could to Atlantic City, like madmen. And when we arrived at this rainforest cafe, we ordered our food and drinks and immediately asked for the check. We scarfed down mozzarella sticks like starving British orphans, and I sucked down that cheetorita like I was a dehydrated elephant at the watering hole. A quick touch to the Atlantic Ocean, and we kept going, screaming down the roads of New Jersey like our wives were in labor. There wasn't a damn thing that was going to stop us now. And we arrived
except
just
a cop behind you.
the Edison, New Jersey Rainforest Cafe. So we had heard stories of this Rainforest Cafe. It was rumored to be the lowest performing location in the country. I can summarize the state that it was in with this. The crocodile pond was devoid of water.
Looks sad.
We were joined at this lowest performing Rainforest Cafe with Nakey Jakey and our boy Fritz.
This is
So your girlfriend's
the
left?
worst location. We heard from other Rainforest Cafe employees. If you look at the sign.
Oh, because they're joining
Despite the flaws of this Rainforest Cafe, it was still a Rainforest Cafe. The wow factor was still there, and you could see that Jakey was having a good time. Jakey and Fritz were so inspired by this Rainforest Cafe that they gave us a little bit of slam poetry.
Rainforest Cafe in the forest, built like a snake. I'm Forrest Gump.
No.
I forgot my rake, and he doesn't like to hump.
You gotta work on that, bro.
We
I'm
drove
sorry,
into New
you gotta
York
work on
City,
that
spent
rap.
some time celebrating our journey thus far with
Or
Jakey
poetry
and
rap.
friends, and prepared to hit the road once more, because we weren't finished yet.
Day 15.
On day 15, we reached the American Niagara Falls Rainforest Cafe. And this Rainforest Cafe is significant.
I've been to Niagara
because
Falls.
I've
I
already
know there's
been
one
to
next
this
there.
Rainforest Cafe
I've only
before.
seen
4
one.
years
The
ago
one
with
that
my
was in
buddy
my
Ross.
town. They
It's one of
closed
the
down.
earliest videos on my channel. And I was
That's right,
delighted to
Tom.
see that it was still open. Maybe there is hope. I bought a Niagara Falls Rainforest Cafe crew neck with all my favorite criminals on it.
How do I look?
Yeah, man, it's
Look
good,
good.
I guess.
And from there, we
Look like-
prepared to
look like
cross
Harry
the
Potter,
border
too,
in
with a
order to
deeper
go to the
voice.
last
I didn't know his voice would be that deep.
Rainforest Cafe. All we
Canada?
had to do was just pass through Border Patrol.
Once you have that code, then you can seek entry to Canada.
Oh.
Right now, unfortunately, you're not able to come to Canada.
Wow.
We just got denied entry to Canada.
We got in 5 minutes later when we filled out the right paperwork. This Canadian location was unique in that it was the only privately owned Rainforest Cafe. So the menu was a bit more custom than your average RFC. Even the fish population was custom, and by that, I mean they had a fucking shark. That's my favorite
Well, that's
animal
cool,
from the
man.
rainforest. Even the
I've
animatronic
been to
animals
Canada
seemed a
before,
bit
too.
more lively than what we were used to.
This is a poor city for minority. I want people to fit the
I wonder how many times. I wonder if they got pulled over any times because they ran out of gas. You know, got the truck broke down. I wonder if they got tickets for speeding up. But I feel like they at least once. You know.
We also saw this waterfall, but not a rainforest cafe, so no reason to care, me say.
Alright, 16. How many days is this?
We stopped at Rainforest Cafe number 15 in Detroit, Michigan. At this point, I could see the amount of Rainforest cafes we had been to was
today
weighing
they
on
scored
Eddie. We had been to
touchdowns.
so many thus
know,
far, and it was probably impossible for him to figure out what his favorite one was. I really felt for him, because I was going through the same thing. From Detroit, we drove to Chicago, where we stayed with Eddie's mom, and on day 17 for our 16th Rainforest Cafe, we traveled from Chicago to Gurnee, Illinois to enjoy another helping of safari fries at the RFC. And this time, we were joined by Danny Gonzalez. Danny and I just clicked. He was a Rainforest Cafe lover like myself, and he might have been having a better time than I was, which is...
Yeah, he's easily entertained.
Like, he must have been a veteran, too, because he knew Tracy Tree by name.
It's Tracy Tree.
It's a talking tree that's in every single gift shop of every single Rainforest Cafe. And they say the same thing every time.
Check out the wild selection of toys, gifts, and souvenirs right here.
What is that thing?
Tree is a sellout.
Eddie's joy I could tell was more internal. He's more of a philosophical lover of the RFC. Honestly, I think it makes him kind of cool. Danny and I walked out of there with a glorious safari march, and he loved it so much that he said this.
My favorite thing about the Rainforest Cafe was the way the waiter was so nice, and he reminded me of a real rainforest. Cafe.
Right now, we are heading to Bloomington, Minnesota, which is the location of the second to last Rainforest Cafe and also the first Rainforest Cafe to ever have been opened. This is a very big deal for me. I can't believe that we've been blessed
needs to watch this. You know, I think he'd enjoy it in some parts.
Blessed. Maybe words
Not
like
enjoy it as much as me, because he'd react some parts too and like explain. I think he'd
Precioso.
I love this. This is pretty interesting, but I mean, you know, all the problems though, just, you know.
I'm thinking, baby.
So we set our sights on where this rainforest found its roots in
the truck breaking down.
The Mall of America. It was such a maze to navigate through that we made it there just an hour before closing. Lucky for us too, because I think that this was Eddie's favorite Rainforest Cafe yet.
That's not, he's acting. Imagine if he just like ran out, like, oh shit, I'm out of here.
Hang on, look like me. Here,
okay, making it seem a little too realistic.
Are you being paid by the Rainforest Cafe?
Yeah, why'd they sponsor you, Ted?
How are you still having a good time?
We're going to every Rainforest Cafe in the United States, Eddie. That's a joy.
Parts of the road trip are fun, but then we fucking end up in another rainforest. We've been to 17 Rainforest Cafes.
Yeah,
And don't you feel like the
one
luckiest
more
person
at
in the
18th
world?
location.
Why would that make you feel lucky?
You got animatronic animals, safari fries. Have you tried the
Yeah.
safari fries?
If I eat another fucking safari fry, dude, I'm dunking myself in the alligator pit. Slowly as we
I feel you,
continue,
bro.
I'm
I'd be
more
tired
and
of
more
those by now,
miserable.
too.
Every goddamn mall, every Mills Mall, fucking Katy Mills, Auburn
The
Mills.
Mills are the best ones. They're the ones that bring life to a small town.
Small
Miserable
town, there's
people.
suburbs and major cities. It's just a boring fucking mall. I just have
You
no
could've
idea.
You could just left Eddie at home if he was going to complain like
go to
that.
Rainforest Cafe after Rainforest Cafe with the same menu and
Uh-oh,
enjoy
yeah,
it
Ted's gonna snap.
more and more.
Maybe it's because it's all I have.
What? What do you mean by that, Ted?
It's all I have. When I was a boy, I went to the Rainforest Cafe.
Why is your
and I
voice so
was a
deep,
miserable
though?
little
I thought it'd be like
boy
a
until
little
I
bit
stepped
higher,
through
just a
those
little bit.
doors, and I saw the animatronic animals. I ate the safari fries. I sipped on the icy with Cha-Cha's head.
Me too.
Rested upon it like a golden idol. We're
Yes,
going to every
I
single
went there
Rainforest Cafe
when I was a young boy,
because it's
too.
an awesome place, and I don't know what I would do if it was gone.
Do you understand the toll? 17
mine's gone, and I've lived a
Rainforest
good
Cafes
life
has on your
since.
digestive
I mean,
system.
I've
I
still
gotta
lived a good
find
life.
a moment to try and fix it.
And I gotta find a moment when you'd show me just a sliver of appreciation for this beautiful trip I'm taking you on. But no, we're going to go to the last Rainforest Cafe, and you are going to enjoy the shit out of it, Eddie. I swear to God.
I'm going to enjoy it because it's the last one. I just want to be done with the trip. Don't
Poor
even
Ted.
fucking talk to me.
I thought he'd step a lot
Maybe I
more.
won't.
Good.
Maybe I fucking won't.
Good.
Can we just end this? I mean, just go to the last one, man. We'll go to the last one and end it. That's a good cliffhanger right there. This is messing with my head too. They saw Green Giant. I'd be trouble weary by now. Yeah, this is all made me hungry, and all I have are these.
I had been a fool. I was so caught up in teaching Eddie about the wonder of the Rainforest Cafe that I didn't see what was right in front of me the whole time. This trip was meant to bring our hearts together, not shatter them completely. Was my love for this mega corporation-owned themed restaurant misplaced? I couldn't wrap my head around it. Maybe I should just forget about this silly goal and just work on repairing what's left of Eddie and I's friendship.
And probably parts of the truck
Wait,
have
I
worn.
forgot Eddie hasn't even tried the famous volcano cake. There's still a chance to save him. The most famous item at the Rainforest Cafe, the brownie sparkling volcano dessert. A giant rich chocolate brownie cake stacked up high, served warm with vanilla ice cream, creamy whipped topping, caramel, and chocolate sauces. It was my only shot to instill the glory of the rainforest inside young Burback's heart. And what a perfect city for our last Rainforest Cafe, Las Vegas. Nothing bad has ever happened in this city, and everyone leaves wealthy emotionally, I think. We arrived in Las Vegas, and I had the fire of ambition in my heart. Once Eddie knew that all he had to eat was that volcano, I could see the sparkle of joy in his eyes. And I was surprised, too. He was being such a meanie 1,712 miles ago. Approaching this final Rainforest Cafe, we were filled with
I guess he wasn't
passion.
acting, he was actually way mad that he had to keep going on
We
the
ordered
vacation.
that volcano, and there it was, in all its glory. All it took was one bite, and I knew Eddie's mind had changed.
It looks so good though.
I could see it in
You
his
eat that
eyes.
too,
We had completed our task and gone to every single Rainforest Cafe in North America. And Eddie was a bigger Rainforest Cafe fan than ever. Look how happy it is. There's no other reason why he could be happy right now. We gazed out onto the bright cityscape of our final stop, and we almost couldn't believe it. Ontario Mills, Galveston, Texas, Bloomington, Minnesota, Niagara Falls. We had done them all. We were true heroes. And what did I have to show for it? You may be asking? Well, every Rainforest Cafe gives you a free souvenir cup every time you buy a specific type of drink. Wow. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a souvenir cup from every single Rainforest Cafe in the country.
That is great.
Guinness Book of World Records, your move.
You need, Wow, that was a good ending too. Just had to put it over because I had all the stuff here. That was pretty interesting. Oh, okay, that was pretty good. You know, I'm gonna do it up to chat. That was pretty good. You know, that was an interesting experience. You know, I can't believe their truck only broke down twice, and I wonder how many times they had to stop for gas or got pulled over. I don't know, but the point is they probably add those parts out. But still, that was a good experience. You know, I wish I could do that, but you know, I don't have the time right now. But I probably wouldn't do that because you know I probably have more problems than him. You know, because I don't know, but anyways, that was, you know, props to him for doing that with Eddie and all that, you know, got all the food. I didn't realize how much food they have. Like I said, I haven't been there in a while because my location closed down. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. This is a long video, so I'm not going to talk a while, but I will upload it soon when I can, and I'll see you next time.